I doubt whether anybody will ever be able to step into the shoes of the legendary MSD. I said that my time is up. If you are born
Okay.
as a girl, you will have to become a doctor by default.
Hi friends, welcome to Cricket Today TV. Today we have MSK Prasad with us, who has been a true servant of the Indian cricket. From bailing out his team as a player to facing verbal volleys of cricketers as a selector, he has seen everything and come out as a true winner. Hi sir, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much, Asim.
Sir, how did the ultimate dream of representing India develop in a middle class home in Guntur?
Well, yeah, before talking about cricket, you need to know a little bit of lifestyle in Guntur. Uh,
Okay.
Guntur and Krishna. These are a couple of districts where their primary occupation is agriculture. Apart from that, nothing much. And so the people who come from those villages to Guntur and Vijayawada is only for education purpose. So if you see across the globe, you will see a lot of people from Guntur and Vijayawada. So the culture there is, if you are born as a boy, you will have to become an engineer. If you are born
Okay.
as a girl, you will have to become a doctor by default. So
Okay.
I'll tell you that once the two couple start, they get married and they have a planning about the next issue of baby or anything. Can you believe they start planning, how to look after their education? So how to make their son, if he's a son, an engineer, so they start investing, from that time. That
Okay.
is the kind of
Okay.
that is the kind of culture that prevails in Guntur and Krishna districts. So I'm a little bit different from that, and from the beginning I had always thought something different, be it because of my upbringing, or is it because of my grandfather's influence, which had a tremendous influence on me. Either sides of my grandfathers were actually those village heads and all. So they used to look after the welfare of those villages and all. So some sort of management qualities that I have got in me is because of them. And my father was also equally good in his office. So these are the qualities that led me to start thinking like a leader and start thinking something different from the normal flock. That's how I got into cricket.
Okay. And sir, if you could just take us through some early memories of playing cricket in your village.
Nothing much. I haven't grown much in village. I've just brought up in Guntur. My early memories is I think all the viewers know who Kidambi Srikanth is. I'm sure all of you know who Kidambi
Yes, sir.
Srikanth.
Yes.
Yeah, our premier badminton player. Um, we were neighbors actually in Guntur.
Okay.
So and his he hails from a very very affluent family, very very rich family. And
Okay.
can you believe that in his own house backyard there is a ground. So
That's
it
good.
used to be such a big house they used to have. So all his uncles used to play cricket, and every day by 3 p.m. My school used to get over, and I used to come and just stand by the gate and see those brothers playing cricket. So after some time, since I'm coming every day, Srikanth's father invited me. "Arey, anyway, you're coming. Why don't you put on the gloves?" So that's how my wicket keeping journey started. And then soon after, in a school game, one of my best friend, my Munir, his name is Munir Ahmad. He's the guy, who saw me in a class game, sixth class versus seventh class game. I did about 6 stumpings. So he saw and he said that there is something in this fellow, and he took me to our first coach, Mr. Purnachandra Rao, and that's how I got into cricket. And from there, till I retired, I never seen back. I just known only playing cricket during those periods. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Your entry into the Indian cricket team, you got into the Indian cricket team after performing exceptionally well in domestic cricket,
Yes.
but suddenly you fell out of favor. So, because you were once preferred over Nayan Mongia. So, where things went wrong according to you?
In fact, I came through a proper process only. Came through Dilip trophies, the other trophies, and India A and all. through a systematic process only I've been groomed into Indian team. And what happened is during our tour, I mean, I was actually shaping up well. I was also a preferred choice when Sachin also became captain. Kapil Dev was the coach. I was a first preferred choice for as a wicketkeeper. As far as wicket keeping is concerned, I know I did extremely well, but I had a very limited opportunities to excel in batting, and in fact that didn't help my cause. So
Okay.
we went to Australia tour, and in fact that Australia tour was a disastrous tour in 1999, and where I think except 4 or 5 players, all of them were coming for the first time to Australia. So there are about 6 or 7 youngsters who made it to that tour, and it's a mix of more of juniors than seniors. So we did have a great series that series. So generally, when you don't have a good series, there is always an axe on somebody, and I am one among them. And I have no regrets because I've been given opportunities. I even opened in Sydney
Okay.
Test match where I batted so long, but I could have converted those opportunities to establish my place in the side. So there is no regrets that because of XYZ reasons I couldn't continue. I was given opportunities and I should have hanged on with it.
So if we talk about your performance during 2002 and 3 Ranji Trophy season, you scored more than 700 runs and your average was above 40. So now you have been you are a former chief selector and you have seen all the process. Do you think you were overlooked by the selector despite, putting in good performances?
What happened was, after that, the tour of Australia, when I came back, I was just playing a Monudala tournament, and it was a tough thing that happened is that there is a slip in my disc. So I had a problem in my disc, and in those days there was no NCA. There is no, so anybody who's suffering from injury has to hide his injuries only. He
Yeah.
cannot openly tell it outside. The moment if they say if I tell it outside that I've been I'm having a back pain, that's it. People will write you off. So I struggled a lot during that period. I didn't know whom to approach. I didn't have the seniors to guide me at that particular time, and nor I didn't wanted to openly also come out and tell that I'm struggling. In fact, those were the times when even Kapil Dev was actually asking me. In fact, he was kind enough to call me and understand where I am. So they were also, even Sachin also said that one of those tours to West Indies I'll have to get ready and all after this kind of a performances in domestic. But having said that, I didn't because of that struggle that I had with my back, it almost took 1.5 years for me to get back into cricket. And meanwhile, a lot of wicket keepers have rushed into the sides. They were given opportunities. So it was Parthiv Patel or Parthiv Patel, Ajay Ratra. There's so many people. Vijay Dahiya. So many people were Deep Das
Yeah.
Gupta were given opportunities. See, coming from a smaller state like Andhra, and you have really worked hard, toiled hard to climb step by step to get into the side. Again, if you fall back and you'll have to come again step by step, is a pretty long process. So
Yeah.
in that journey, I lost my place.
But you did pretty well as a chief selector. So if I ask you that the job of the selector is not easy, so how hard it was to take a call on a certain player?
So it is definitely easy. See, if I put myself into their shoes, if you open a newspaper, you'll see about 25, 30, hundreds every day. So many 5 wicket hauls, so many exceptional performances. And today's world, it's about 38 first-class teams in this state. So you have so many performers. So it's not easy to satisfy everybody. But as long as you have a clear vision, as long you exactly should know what is the requirement of the senior side, what kind of bench strength that you need to develop. So you need to have a clear thought process about the succession chart for the current Indian team. If you start thinking from those lines, you start developing. You start picking the players and put them into a radar, and you constantly start grooming them. And that's what our selection committee has done, and we have picked about 60 players, and we just groomed them through India AAs, Dilip trophies, or board presidents 11s. See, that's how we could successfully do our jobs. And the best part about it is, our selection committee never shied away from taking the responsibility of watching the matches across the length and breadth of the country. We used to travel about 220 to 240 days in a year and identify that fresh talent. So we can take pride in saying that we've been honest in doing our duties, and we did our level best with right intentions.
Sir, you were one of the finest Indian wicketkeepers during your international days, and you have been the head of the selection committee. Now, according to you, who is the right candidate to replace MS Dhoni the package? KL Rahul or Rishabh Pant or someone else?
I doubt whether anybody will ever be able to step into the shoes of the legendary MSD, because MSD is not just a wicketkeeper, or is just not a batsman who finishes the innings. He's also a greatest ever captain, greatest captain who's ever captained for our country, arguably one of the greatest captains in the world. So he's altogether a different package. You know, you cannot replicate him. You can identify a wonderful wicketkeeper or a wonderful batsman or a great captain, but all three of them, you cannot find into one single person. So I don't know, if at all we can ever in the history we can have a combination of all these three great things in one individual.
So you have been a great supporter and an admirer of MS Dhoni. What do you make of his retirement timing? Was the team still looking forward to have him back after the World Cup?
Uh, Personally, I feel that he was actually looking at looking to retire post T20 World Cup that was scheduled to be held in Australia. So probably because that tournament has been called off, that World Cup T20 World Cup has been called off, that has prompted him to take this decision, and rightly so, because he'll still have to wait one more year to, if at all you have to play World Cup. So probably that is the reason why he would have taken this decision.
Sir, if we talk about domestic cricket, if you remember one player, do you think that he was overlooked by the selectors or was not treated properly by the selectors despite his good performance in domestic tournaments? Can you name one player?
See, whoever has performed in domestic has been duly recognized and regarded through some form or the other, like Dilip trophies, as I already said, India A's or anything. See, overlook is a little bit of a exaggerated word, I feel, because see, I'll tell you a small example. I'll tell you a small story. I think a couple of years before, there was a Lifetime Achievement Award that was given to Mr. Rajendra Singh Goel. He has taken more than 600 first-class wickets. So, and on that day, when the Lifetime Achievement Award was being given to him by none other than Bishan Singh Bedi, sir, so a question was asked by the anchor that, Mr. Goel, Mr. Goel, do you ever regret for not playing for the country? In front of Mr. Bishan Singh Bedi, he said this, that had I taken 300 and more wickets, I doubt if I would have ever taken the place of Bishan Singh Bedi. So why did I narrated this incident is that, there will be times where the teams will be packed with legendary cricketers, the Fab Five batting of Indian team. During those times, there were plenty of batsmen who were plundering runs in domestic cricket, but they never got an opportunity because it is the legends who are actually playing, and that's why they're called Fab Five. So it's unfortunate that they are born in that era where the team were finding it very difficult to get into the side. So I don't really see that during our tenure we have ever missed any individual after performing so well in domestic cricket.
So if I talk about IPL, how good has been IPL for the youngsters? And if I talk about your case, don't you think you retired too early to have earned some money and fame out of the league as a player?
To begin with, we never played for money in those days, and of course, it's our livelihood. There's no two ways about it. Because of cricket, we got employment. So, it was the passion which led, and subsequently we saw money in the game. And the second point is, with regard to IPL, I think, in fact, I have retired exactly in the same year when IPL has come into existence, because forget IPL, I was actually thinking that, I was just 31 and a half years old. I was the captain of the side. We missed that year knockouts by 1 point. So I thought that, going forward, I saw MSD already established, backup keepers in Parthiv and Parthiv and Dinesh Karthik. So I said that my time is up. If I hang on for a few more years, I'll stop the next generation players coming from Andhra. So that's the very reason why I retired, and I've never looked at money, or because if you see even the domestic cricket, that's when the money started coming in. From suddenly, when I made my debut, it was 1,200 rupees per day. And when I retired, and exactly the same year, it was, I think, 1 lakh per game. So money was never behind my mind about playing cricket. As long as I was able to give my best to Andhra cricket, I did, and I thought that time has come to move on, and I just moved on.
So if we talk about the selection process, is IPL performances given more weightage over performance in other domestic tournaments like Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy and all that?
First of all, we don't consider the performance of IPL when we pick for the test squad. So we definitely consider it when we pick for T20 squad. Why? Because the best in the business across the globe will generally participates in IPL. And if any performance in that particular tournament, will definitely get that mileage, and because that has been scored against the best in the world. So definitely, more than IPL definitely has got better mileage than your domestic cricket like Mushtaq Ali and all. So having said that, we don't really ignore the domestic cricket. It's a mix of both. IPL will definitely because IPL also tests not only your skills, it also tests your technical skills. It also tests your mental skills against the best of the lot. So someone who has succeeded IPL and someone who is consistent in IPL will definitely get that quick attention compared to the domestic cricket like Mushtaq Ali.
So coming back to the IPL again, which is your favorite IPL team, and according to you, which team has the best chance of winning this year's competition in UAE?
There are plenty of favorite teams. I always used to like SRH and CSK. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong because this year the tournament is pretty wide open. Anybody can win this. Why I'm saying is that there is nothing called home advantage now. Every team, all the 8 teams are playing in neutral venues, and the best part is you had the opportunities of changing the tracks according to your team strengths when you're playing at home. This is not going to happen in this IPL. So all the 8 teams are playing in neutral venues. So the team that has got more hunger, the team that has got more the more spirit in them is going to win. So and if you see the combinations, I think if you see a simple example, DC has never won, the Capitals have never won. But if you see their combination, if you have to pick the 11, all 11 are international cricketers. Even the Indian domestic cricketers are all the cricketers who have played international matches. So the combinations are fantastic. RCB, which has never won a title till now, with Finch and Coulter-Nile joining them, there will be a very big force. Sorry, not Coulter-Nile. I think that's the all-rounder from South Africa. So every team has got wonderful combinations. So that's why the blue chip teams like CSK or Mumbai cannot straight away say that they're going to win this tournament. It's a wide one. It's wide open.
Yeah. So a lot of Indian cricketers are associated with a lot of franchises. VVS Lakshman with SRH. Then you can look at Sachin with the Mumbai Indians. Abhishek Nair is another one. So if given a chance in the near future, any particular franchises you would like to associate yourself with?
No, I'd love to be associated with any of the franchises because I'm very confident that because my core strength is my management qualities. So probably any franchisee I can definitely help them out if my services are needed.
Sir, recently, one of the Mumbai cricketers, he died by suicide. He was a youngster. He was not happy after getting some kind of rejection from the IPL franchisees. So you have been a cricketer yourself. If any message and advice for the youngsters, how to take rejections?
See, I think if you see the life of any successful people, that would have gone through a lot of thorns. No life is a bed of roses. Youngsters should realize that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. You don't need to get stuck in the dark. There is always an opportunities coming, and you have to believe in your abilities, and you just have to keep fighting. And let's not forget that when you're born, you are not born for this game. You are brought up by your parents. There's so much of love and affection with which they have brought you up. There is life beyond cricket also, so you'll have to think that. And you're not only you're not only responsible for the responsible for yourself, you're also responsible for your parents. There's so much of people depending and living around you, and living their dreams through you. So so I think cricket is definitely very, very important. Achieving the goals are very, very important, but life is much, much bigger than cricket.
So five things which one would always find in your kit bag. There are cricketers who keep pictures of their family or something, something different. Five things which you would find in your kit bag.
Well, to begin with, I'll definitely have a wicket keeping set and a batting set. Apart from that, you will definitely find a book, a pen,
Okay.
book and a pen. So I can't imagine the fifth one. If it is
Okay.
in earlier days, you used to find a broomstick also, because that was definitely a part of my kit bag, because we never even used to have a space of 22 yards to play in our hometown. So we used to carry broomstick so that we'll have to sweep it and make it like a 22 yards pitch and then play. So, so subsequently, I would definitely say that a pen and a small handbook will definitely you would have found in my kit bag.
Okay. So who was the biggest prankster and Mr. Serious during your playing days, as far as Team India is concerned?
Uh, I don't say I don't. You don't need to call it as a prankster. I would say that a guy who used to unite the team with his jokes and with his fun and with his attracting personality. I would name both Srinath and Jadeja, Ajay Jadeja. They
Okay.
are two wonderful characters. Who used to the team used to bind because of them. And you love to spend time with them, because when time just flies when they're around you, and the confidence that they repose in you is phenomenal. They can lift you from no world another world also. So that is the kind of guys both are, and they are absolutely lovely people to have around you. Serious. See, there are quite a few serious characters. I know even Rahul Dravid is a very studious
Yeah.
person, very, very serious. But since I share a good relationship with right from our under 15 days, I have a good time with him. But maybe he may not be the same guy with others, but he's very studious sort of a person. And I know we had a wonderful team at that time. Every fun-loving people, and so I don't see anybody beyond this who's too serious also. That.
Yeah. Sir, if given a chance, if you are allowed to go back into the past and change one thing from your cricketing career, what would that be?
I don't. I just can't imagine myself without cricket. And if God gives me time and again any number of births, and I would love to be born for my parents, about whom I'm really proud, and I would love to be in this profession of cricket forever.
Okay. So now some of the field questions. Telugu people love movies. You also love
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
Who's your
Yes.
favorite actor and why? And which is your favorite movie and why?
Yeah, Telugu films. Telugu people without Telugu films are. You cannot separate movies from our blood, and that's the only pastime that we have. Because in our state, you don't have a big parks or lakes or places where you can walk around, fool around or anything. But it's only the only passing time is movies. So
Yeah.
invariably, all of us gather together by the weekend and go for a movie, or at least once in a fortnight. So I think there's a lot of plenty of heroes. There's a quality also. All the actors
Okay.
are full of quality, and right from those N.T. Ramarao days till today, and even the youngest hero is also as talented as anybody else. Uh, Telugu movies have got a lot of mix of interesting stories with a lot of comedians. So that's why whenever you are serious, you go to a movie. Whenever you don't have a mood, you go to a movie. Whenever you're happy, you go to a movie. So a movie is something that you cannot separate from any Android.
So if some fine day, one director comes up or a producer comes up, he wants to make a movie on your life as a cricketer, as a selector. So according to you, which one star who have the characteristics to play your role?
So again, you put me into a role of a selector here. So you want me to select from? So yeah, first of all, I don't know whether that will ever happen. Let's wait and see. There's plenty of actors, full of energy in Andhra.
Yeah.
Given it to anybody, they'll be successful. So I think there are another 2-3 phases in my life which I'll have to go through before thinking about this one.
Okay. So I missed one question, it was about the selectors. When you people sit in a selection committee room, what do you talk about apart from cricket? We have heard a lot of you discuss about pace and all that. What is one, something if you could tell us that what do people discuss apart from cricket?
Basically, we selection committee meeting happens like this, that, a day prior to the selection, we actually come to Mumbai, sit over a dinner, we discuss so many things, and then the next day when you go into the BCCI office, you have your captain coming into the selection committee, a board secretary sitting with us. So I don't really, initially we generally discuss about the top performers in domestic cricket apart from discussing about the team. So that both the board secretary and also the captain is also well aware of the new talent that keeps coming up. I don't, because it's so formal, and I don't really see you talking anything other than cricket there. And
Okay.
once the team is picked, we then have a lunch together, and during that lunch, we come across the needs and requirements of the team, and we also discuss about the because if the captain is going on an away tour, sometimes we may not meet him. Only the selector on call will be meeting him. So we discuss so many things about what would by the time he comes back, there is a home series, so we need to prepare for that. So we everything revolves around the game and interest of the team, interest of the country. Especially because this is cricket is a religion in our country, and we cannot take things so easy, so lightly, and so we are totally focused, and that too we only meet. All of us only meet together and with the captain only during the selection committee meeting time. So we generally don't have any discussions other than cricket there.
So thanks a lot for your time. You were wonderful and you faced our verbal volleys perfectly. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks a lot, sir, once again for your time and patience.